Wednesday, December 14th, PPRTA Board of Directors meeting. Call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Approval of the agenda. We do have a request to pull item 7B. It's apparently not quite ready for prime time, and there is no need for item 12, an executive session. Do we have an approval with those changes?
Move approval of those changes.
I'll second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, public comment period for items not on the agenda. Anyone in the audience would like to bring something to our attention that is not on today's agenda? No. I don't know, Corey, there may not be a good time for it. Oh. Moving on, item number 4, resolutions of appreciation for board directors Sally Clark and somebody else.
Let me get started since that.
Okay.
I have a resolution I would like to read, and then I'll look for it to be approved. But this is a resolution by the Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority Board of Directors acknowledging appreciation to El Paso County Director Dennis Heisey. Whereas El Paso County is a member government of the Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority, and whereas Dennis Heisey served as an El Paso County Commissioner from 2005 through 2016, when he served as the Pikes Peak RTA Board of Directors his entire term as a County Commissioner, including serving as PPRTA Chair in 2012, 2016, and Vice Chair in 2011. And whereas El Paso County Director Dennis Heisey has served the citizens of El Paso County and the Pikes Peak region with distinction, now therefore be it resolved that the PPRTA Board of Directors wishes to acknowledge their deepest gratitude to El Paso County Director Dennis Heisey for his commitment to regional transportation planning and projects, for his wise counsel, and for his dedication to the advancement of the transportation projects of the Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority. Resolved, approved, and adopted by this Board of Directors of the Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority this 14th day of December 2016 at Colorado Springs, Colorado. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
I move to approve it.
Second.
All right. And since all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And so, Dennis, it's my honor to present this resolution to you and present this hard hat as something for you to keep. Remember the last 12 years of your life.
It's about 12 years too late.
But thank you so much. We deeply appreciate all you've done.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
When I ran for commissioner, of course, I didn't realize what took place in the other duties as assigned category. The RTA being one of them, but it has been an honor to serve. This is one board that has made a real difference in citizens' lives. And just a quick story. By the end of the first year, we're starting to spend money on roads in my district. By the end of the second year, I'm having people tell me, "You've done more for the roads in our neighborhood than, has been done in the last ever how many years, pick a number, 10, 12, they all had a different number." And for a year or two there, well, you did that, you approved, this is a voter approved PPRTA, we're out there because of you. By about the third year, I said, "You're welcome." So I came on the commission at a very good time. We were spending money, and re-election was easy because of that. So thank you all for your support, for letting me do this.
Thank you for running great meetings.
Great job.
Thank you.
Yes.
I would like to, now that we have the camera folks here, I would like to get a photo. Can you get all of us in some manner, if you put us someplace, and we will follow your direction?
If you actually want to get, just stand up and to get right in the middle, right there,
Okay?
that will work perfectly.
Put your hat on.
Yeah, you gotta wear the hat.
It is the hat.
Okay.
You need to wear the hat.
Yes. Well, the one thing we know is I will have to make it bigger to get it. We don't.
Yeah. There you go.
All right.
All right.
Oh, no, this is actually perfect.
She's got telephoto.
Yep. It's a, I don't have my wide angle today. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Thank you.
The camera still work?
Great.
Yeah. Now, we just missed Mark. When Sally arrives, we will go back to that one. But,
Sounds good.
I'll just wait.
slide that under here so I don't wrinkle it right under it, otherwise old spindle or mule. Okay, we will come back to that item when Sally gets here. Brings us to item number 5, approval of minutes from November 9th meeting.
Move approval.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 6, Citizens Advisory Committee Monthly Report. Jim?
Good afternoon, Jim Godfrey, Chair of the CAC. Maybe a flak vest would have been more appropriate at the beginning of your... like to just report out on the Citizens Advisory Committee meeting. We, as you mentioned, we had a discussion around project renewal, project revisions. Out of respect for the city, who hadn't had a chance to properly staff that, they've asked that to come off. But just very briefly, the intent of that discussion was to set some guidelines so that when the member governments come in with project cost increases, not just moving from one year to another, but total project cost increases, that we have some guidelines at the kind of information that we would like to have in order to properly discuss and make a recommendation. We've come very close in a couple of years past where a discussion has taken place and the member governments haven't been totally prepared to answer all the questions. And so my intent was to create some guidelines so that we don't put in jeopardy a project or having the opportunity for a member government to change something between the time the CAC sees it and the time it comes to see you, that we need to be able to have a discussion at our level. And the onus is on them to be prepared to discuss that. So, 10% increase in a $300 million or a $30 million project's one thing, but a 100% increase in a $15 million is another whole story. And so anyway, that's generally what that topic is about, is just trying to produce some guidelines, not hard and fast, but that was the intent of that discussion. So anyway, that'll be brought forward at another day. Then we went on to the 2017 budget update. The city, both city and county, there were no other changes in the other members, but they modified their budget submission to take into account the item transfers and the additional money for Colorado Avenue that we discussed last month, and they brought those forward. Had a good discussion about those, and we make a positive recommendation for approval of those. Colorado Springs contracts came forward with a couple of contracts, renewal of some on-call contracts. There's about 16 or so on-call contracts for various things, some with dollar limits, some with no dollar limit. And then they had some aggregate material, and then a walk-on with North Chestnut Culvert, a cleanup of some of that contract, and we make a positive recommendation on all of those. The county came forward with a contract increase excuse me, contract award for Mark Shuffle South for Wildcat Construction, and we recommend that as well. And other than that, the rest of it was info, and glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Guthrie? Thanks, Jim.
Yep, you bet.
Item number 7, financial reports. Monthly financial report from Beverly.
Good afternoon. I put the latest financial reports at your table, and in October we received $8,369,000, which was almost $681,000 above the monthly budget, or 8.9%. And year-to-date, we're $3,860,000 above the year-to-date budget, so 5.2%, and it looks like we'll have quite a bit of carryover then in the amended budget in 2017 mid-year. So that's good news. And then page 2 just compares the figures to sales and use tax figures to last year, and we're ahead so far $5,442,000 or 7.56%. Then, of course, pages 3, 4, and 5 put the sales and use tax figures in that upper section of page 3, and all the other revenue numbers, and then the expenditures start mid-page, page 3, and then 4 and 5. There's nothing that interesting to point out about that. As you probably know, we receive a lot of our we catch up on our expenses towards the end of the year and then into the first part of the next year for the prior year, because we're waiting for the expenditures from the member governments. So it takes a little bit of time, which is why we have our audit at the end of April. So are there any questions on the financials?
Questions?
Okay,
Good job.
thanks.
Item number 8, everybody gets to there.
Okay. So
Budget and public hearing, approval of budget.
Yes, so today was the day, December 14th, that was published for the public hearing for the 2017 budget. And we can go over the budget to any extent you want today. Some of the members weren't here last month when we had the budget workshop. But then after that, we'd like you to have the public hearing and adopt resolutions to adopt the budget and appropriate funds.
Any board member questions, comments before we open the public hearing? With that, I will open the public hearing on the 2017 budget. Anyone in the audience wish to comment on the budget? Glad to see we don't have city and county folks jumping up saying there's not enough. Seeing no public comment, we will close the public portion of this public hearing. Councilmember, President Pro Tem. No, you're president of the.
Yeah.
Move that water bottle. Council President Merv Bennett.
I move to approve the 2017 budget and appropriate the necessary funds.
Second?
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Well done. Item number 9, 2016 capital maintenance and public transportation contracts. City of Colorado Springs, you're first. And this is where we bring Corey in.
Okay, I'll have Corey explain. So Mike Chavez, City Engineering. We've got 4 items for consideration. I'll briefly go over the first 3, and we have a walk-on. First one is a renewal of several on-call contracts. Those are, some we had some rough values that we're thinking it will go up to, and some we just want to renew and we'll use as needed, and we have a $200,000 task order limit on those per board's approval as kind of a policy thing item. Operations has a supply contract for steel slag for the chip seal program with Black Rock Material for $550,000, and then we have a change order for HDR to finish their design construction services. We finished and opened up Chestnut last couple of weeks ago, and there was just some field work that they had to give us a little extra help on to get that project done.
Thank you. Corey, welcome.
All right, thank you. Corey Farkas, Public Works Operations and Maintenance for City of Colorado Springs. I've got a walk-on here for our Cartograph contract. It's an existing contract that we have. And the Cartograph is our asset management tool, and we're contracting with them to go out and you see the van on the picture here. We call it the Ghostbuster vehicle because it's got all kinds of gadgets on it. But they're going out to do a full data collection on all of our infrastructure within the city. What you'll see is we had a 2015 investment on the data collection services. We picked a small portion of the city. You'll see on the back of that map those red streets. We had them go through, and what we were really looking at was just to be able to replace the way that we do our PMA, our pavement management assessment. I've been to the board kind of talking about that prior to 2C. And how we go out and pick our streets for paving. We use that pavement management assessment where we grade all the roads. It's a very arduous process. It takes 4 years to complete manually. With this company, we were going to be able to do it in 1 year and get a full look at what our pavements were doing within the city. As we started venturing with this company and the equipment that they have, we quickly saw that they can also catalog every pedestrian ramp that we have in town, every sign, every marking, every median. They can assign ownership to these things. For example, we do have medians that there are 4 separate owners on a median. Up north, there's an SIMD, Parks and Rec, an HOA, and if it's hardscaped, I own some of it. And who maintains all of that? So we're going to really be able to have a full comprehensive asset management tool for the first time in the city's history, where we take a look at all of our infrastructure and make highly educated decisions on how we maintain that infrastructure moving forward. So as we were putting all of our existing contracts forward for renewal, somehow this one got left off the list. In talking with Rick this morning, he reminded me that wasn't on the list, so here I am to walk it on and hopefully get that for renewal so that we can, in the coming year, change order off of that so that we can get all of this done. As well, PPACG also contacted us. This was something that they were very interested in. So we're partnering with PPACG in this venture so that we can have a cost savings on both sides of the house. They're going to collect their data. We're going to collect our data. We're going to share data, and so it's a win-win all the way around.
Well, it's certainly easier to make informed decisions with good data, so.
Absolutely, and it's a pretty neat vehicle where we were sending inspectors out to do the PMA. They were physically walking and driving streets and inspecting them, assigning deficiency rating to all of the deficiencies within the streets, cracks, potholes, etc. This actually drives at speed limit. It's got ground penetrating radar. We're going to know the depths of all of our roadways in town as well, so we won't have to necessarily have a coring program as much. And again, we've got 360-degree video with this as well, so think of Google Earth. We're going to have our own Google Earth for the city of Colorado Springs, and we're going to have to be able to glean a lot of information off of that. So,
You couldn't get them to honor the 2015 price?
unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, no. And that was a pilot program, and like I said, when we found out exactly what they could deliver to us, it was really exciting to think that we could have a comprehensive asset management tool to be able to make decisions off of. So that's why we want to go ahead and put forth the effort and the investment.
But it sounds like you have that savings of the 2017 cost just in personnel savings, right?
Absolutely. There's a major long-term savings. I mean, we're not going to have to send people out year after year. We could only do a quarter of the city a year. And even planning for 2C, for example, we had to use our most current PMA, which the quarter of the city that we did in year one on that 4-year cycle, those roadways had deteriorated further, yet we had to use the data that we have. So we don't have, it was a grassroots effort. There's a lot of major cities that don't even have a PMA out there. We actually sent ours to a city in New Jersey last year because they heard we had a grassroots effort that we had started back in '09. This is just taking us into the 21st century.
Corey, how deep does the radar go?
I believe the ground penetrating radar can go, I want to say 8 to 9 inches, if I remember correctly. But I'd have to ask Andy, our GIS guru, on all of that. No, unfortunately, it doesn't necessarily go that deep. It does go deep enough that there are other cities that are doing this. Boston, for example. There's articles on Boston where they're trying to figure out how they can utilize that technology to basically predict potholes before they happen with the subgrade.
You know, water mains, you know, it's
Right.
feedback on the status of that, it's not deep enough.
Yep. So,
A couple questions.
yes.
If that's okay.
Please.
So we were just hearing from the CAC in terms of not walking things on, but changes, right, and sort of a policy and procedure for changes. Does this fall into that? Since we're going from 83,000 up quite a bit here, am I just new to walk-on items like this? Are you asking, is this a change in the budget, a change in cost, or just contract?
No, what I'm asking for right here today is to renew the contract that we have. And I'll let Rick correct me, but I believe with maintenance dollars being different than CIP dollars, that as long as we put it on the change order log, is that correct? Or, I'll let Rick explain it because I will lead you astray.
Okay, don't leave
And I
that.
don't want to
Question.
do that.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Rick Sonnenberg, Pikes Peak RTA Program Contracts Manager. This is simply a renewal. The contracts need to have an annual renewal, and the list you have in your packet contains a big, long list. This just needed to be a one-year renewal for 2017.
Okay.
With regard to change orders, maintenance contracts do not need any, once they're approved initially, any change orders don't need to come through the CAC and board process on the maintenance side. Yes, on the capital side, no on the maintenance. So this is maintenance. So the fact that it's increasing dramatically on the dollar side is what the board practice has been since day one, is that maintenance contracts, change order amounts are unlimited. So so for this one, since it's maintenance, it's simply renewing the vendor for 2017.
Okay. Thank you very much. One
Thank you.
last question.
Much
Thank
better
you.
than the answer I would have given.
One more, okay.
One more. So partnering with PPACG,
Yes.
you were saying, so does that mean that other members of PPACG might have, well, I guess we wouldn't really need access to the data. I'm just wondering what benefit is there going to be with partnering with PPACG and this?
I think that would be a question. Andy Richter from the city has been working with Craig Casper on that piece of it, so I wouldn't be able to answer that
Okay,
question.
no problem. Thank you.
And how frequently do you need to renew this?
That's a great question. So when we get this initial data, we're going to have a comprehensive look at everything we've got. I mean, like I said, from 88 ped ramps to signs and markings, guardrail, everything. We're going to know where it's at, what condition it's in, all of it. That's up to us, I think, on how often we want that renewed. It might be something that it's not an all or nothing type scenario. We may want to do a PMA on our roadways every 2 years, but once we get our guardrails, retaining walls, things of that nature, those aren't things that go up often. And once we get those cataloged and all of the information on them mapped, then that might be something that we can internally continue to update as needed, as new ones go in, and then every so often, whatever that time frame may be, revisit having those inspected. But certainly the roadways and potentially our pedestrian ramps are the two that would really be looking at to do more often than some of the others. So, but I don't anticipate us going, every year doing a full data collection on our infrastructure. I just don't think that's necessary.
Thank you. Council President Merv Bennett.
I move approval of all 4 items.
Thank you. Call the roll. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to item 9. Yes, Mr. Godfrey.
I had one question for Corey that I would have asked at the CAC if I may. When you find an area like in a development that is still under development, where the road is alligating and cracking, that maybe a developer didn't build it properly, will you be able to identify that and hold that developer accountable?
I think that is another conversation. We are actually pursuing a software currently called Excella for our permitting process that will allow us to take permit payments online, et cetera. It'll also allow us to track our new development closer so that we know what's in and out of warranty periods at any one time. I think there's a bit of a gray area in that because, and I'm very interested in this same thing because I inherit all of the roadways that are newly built, and we are now working with planning and development and new development to align all of what we do and ensure that we have infrastructure that's being built that I can maintain at some point in time. So we're going through those discussions right now, but I think that's more on the Excella, over on the plate of Excella than Cartograph. This is simply taking a look at all of our inventory and assets and identifying what's what and what condition it's in.
But as you inventory and scan this initial data, it will give you some baseline on developers or that may be marginal or something that you've already inherited.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's go to item 9B. We'll finish up 9 and then go back to item number 4.
Good afternoon, Jennifer Irvin, County Engineer. First, I'd like to say Merry Christmas because we won't see each other again before the new year. And then second of all, I just want to thank city staff for working with us to make sure we had funding for the Colorado Avenue as discussed last month. So we appreciate the partnership that we have with the city. And then second of all, then lastly, our actual item, we have a change order for Mark Shuffle South, and I just moved away from it. But it's a change order for about $427,000, and I lost where it is. But essentially, we have, and this is for kiln dust, we found an error in the amount of kiln dust that was recommended by the engineering firm before we paved and before we started working. And essentially, what we needed was a 14-inch section. And the kiln dust is a treatment similar to cement that we use so that we don't have to tear out the base and then import new base. It's essentially we're strengthening the soil underneath the asphalt, and so it's a lot cheaper for that alternative. So instead of a 6-inch section, we found that we needed actually a 14-inch section, and so this amount accommodates for the actual dust and then an incremental charge for the putting it into the soil and moving it and mixing it, and so we added that cost as well. So it's $427,000. I'm glad we found that issue before we actually put the pavement down, and so we know that we'll have a good roadway. So that's what that item is for, and it's within our project budget.
Thank you. That is quite a rototiller they used to mix that in.
Yes.
I was out there one day when they were changing teeth on it. It would do a fine job on your garden. Do we have a motion to approve? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
So let's go back to item number 4. resolution of appreciation for Board Director Sally Clark. Commissioner, if you'd like to come to the podium.
I got free of the hazing at the first one, so.
Oh, you can stand right there.
All right, maybe the hazing isn't over.
Resolution by the Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority Board of Directors acknowledging appreciation to El Paso County Director Sally Clark, December 14, 2016. Whereas El Paso County is a member government of the Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority, and whereas Sally Clark served as an El Paso County Commissioner from 2005 through 2016, when she served as Pikes Peak RTA Board Director her entire term as a County Commissioner, including serving as the Pikes Peak RTA Chair in 2008 and 2010, and Vice Chair in 2009, and as an alternate board member on the Pikes Peak RTA from 2011 through 2016. And whereas El Paso County Director Sally Clark has served the citizens of El Paso County and the Pikes Peak region with distinction, now therefore be it resolved, the Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority Board of Directors wishes to acknowledge their deepest gratitude to El Paso County Director Sally Clark for her commitment to regional transportation planning and projects, for her wise counsel, and for her dedication to the advancement of the transportation projects of the Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority. Resolved, approved, and adopted by the Board of Directors of Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority this 14th day of December 2016 at Colorado Springs, Colorado. Signed, Dennis Heisey, Chair, Board of Directors, attested to by Robert McDonald, Board Secretary. We have a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Clark, would you
Well,
like to say a few words?
Maybe I'll just say 2 words. Cimarron Bridge. For those of you that have been around here long enough to remember, it was a regular RTA discussion when I first came on this board, and I've served with a lot of different folks who've rolled through here. Mayor Mark Snyder, I think Mayor Marcy Morrison at the time was also part of the RTA board, as well as our former Commissioner Wayne Williams, now our Secretary of State, and numerous others along the way. So I just want to say it's great that we have our PPRTA in place. We're certainly envied by many, and we couldn't do the road projects we've been able to do without the support of the voters and those that worked so hard before Commissioner Heisey and I came on this board. But it's great, and thank you very much. And I'm glad that Cimarron Bridge isn't falling down anymore. And now the next Cimarron Bridge is getting redone by CDOT. So we appreciate that.
Began and ended your tenure with Cimarron.
That's right. That's right.
Well, thank you, Sally. We certainly appreciated your tenacity and your willingness to dig in, even when the going was tough. So.
Thanks, and I appreciate the funding today to help the project on West Colorado. And as I said at the groundbreaking on Monday, to quote Hannibal Smith from the A-Team, which maybe now is the Avenue Team, I love it when a plan comes together.
Other comments? Are you ready for?
You're all speechless, I know.
Picture?
That'd be great. I'd love the whole board if you wouldn't mind.
We'll get the whole board, and then if we could just get you and Ms. Clark, that would be perfect.
Okay.
With your helmets and all that. Sorry.
Push and shove.
We just do the 2 of us.
All right. Make sure you guys could try to scoot in even more.
Okay, I know.
Somebody said that's close enough.
She slaps me.
Yeah.
Okay, and then if I could get just.
Okay. Just the 2 of us.
See how well this stays on here. Yeah.
That's the papers up here.
There we go.
1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you.
What was your day? I heard that. You know what? My husband would agree with you.
And the lights on the mic.
Mark's saying what we were all thinking.
Admire your courage, question your wisdom. Item number 10, we are down to other reports already. City of Colorado Springs Transit Services Monthly Report. Welcome, Craig.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, board members. Craig Blewett, Transit Services Manager with the City of Colorado Springs. You do have a report in your agenda, just a couple comments to make. With our local fixed route service, again, retaining some solid ridership. There was one less weekday this year compared to last, so a little bit decline, but that's typical when you have less work weekdays. ADA service is staying steady, and Vanpool continues to struggle. It's something we're working on, but once again, I think fuel prices are not helping us with regard to that program at this point in time.
I've heard reports that some change by OPEC is going to be reducing the oil surplus
Supply,
that seems to be out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought of the Vanpool when I heard that. This may change by this time next year.
It really is a pricing, competitive situation. So, at some point, fuel prices are going to go back up again, and we're ready. So, and then lastly, or with regard to projects, I think I mentioned this last time, but the downtown station relocation study goes on. We have it down to the 3 finalist sites. The mayor is appointing a steering committee to take it from those 3 sites down to the final site location, so that will be occurring over the next, I think, 6 months of 2017. We expect to have that complete by June of next year. And then finally, just an additional item to add on to, we have been working to coordinate with CDOT and El Paso County on how to best perform snow removal at the Monument Park and Ride. We decided that for this season, MMT, Mountain Metro Transit, would take the lead for this winter season, and we would use PPRTA funds to do that. We expect the cost to be within $15,000 for the season. Kind of does depend on how much snow there is, but we're in the process of putting it out for bid and expect to have a contractor on board very soon to be hopefully ready for the next major snowfall.
Thank you. Questions for Craig? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item B, Colorado Springs monthly change order and property acquisition. Welcome, Mike. By the way, that was a good concert the other night, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. When we're at the Air Force, the Holly and the Ivy, which is always a great show. We just have one item. We have a quantity adjustment for Kiewit for the Centennial reconstruction. We had a change of design on the pavement section. We had to adjust it and thin it out and bring in some geogrid to avoid utilities. So that's what we had on that project.
Questions? Very good. Thank you. Item 10 C would be quarterly reports from member governments. Welcome, Rick.
Good afternoon again. This is just an information item. Be glad to take any questions you might have.
Any questions on the quarterly reports?
Thank you. Thank you.
Brings us to item number 11, administrative actions and reports.
This is a 4-part item. The first 3 are just information. 3 reminders that board directors, according to the bylaws, are appointed on an annual basis. So please discuss with your governing body if you'd like to be reappointed for calendar 2017.
Done.
Thank you. So noted for the minutes. Okay.
No change.
The board chair in 2017, reminder that at your January meeting, you'll be picking your officers, so the board chair would need to be from City of Colorado Springs directors, and the board vice chair would need to be from the El Paso County directors. But again, for your January meeting, just a reminder,
Board chair from the
city
and vice chair
from the county.
Okay. I'm catching.
I throw my name in, but I'm not allowed to.
Pesky bylaws. Anybody else want to take that one?
Tyler's been here the longest. Well, I guess Rob was here for that.
There you go. That's right.
First meeting.
Just is what it is.
Those are the laws, darn it.
And we're sticking to it.
So the one action item is item number 4 on the last page. The board's subcommittee for reviewing and recommendation for at-large and at-large alternate CAC members met recently, and they are recommending the following 4 individuals. Jim Godfrey for reappointment as an at-large regular member. Mr. Gene Bray to be promoted from an at-large alternate to an at-large regular. That's Carla's seat. Tom Rogers for reappointment as an at-large alternate, and bringing back Rick Hoover as an at-large alternate because his CTAB seat expired a few months back. So those are the 4. That's the platform that the subcommittee is recommending the full board.
And as a member of the committee, I would move approval of these 4 individuals.
Thank you. Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
Jim, welcome back.
Thank you.
Yes, Jennifer.
Just if I may respond to the mayor's questions, actually in the establishing IGA, it states that the chair and vice chair can only be held by the city and the county. So it
So
could be
it's
changed.
beyond the bylaws.
Yeah, so it could be changed, but it's going to take it's going to take every single one of the members changing by 2/3 majority at their local level. So.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
I wasn't here for the why
Why
part,
not how?
but
That is true. That was the original question, but that's helpful.
Are you coming up on meeting this evening? I think Turner talked to me about that.
He'll give you a map. Let's see, that brings us to item number 13.
Yeah.
Consider action related to ongoing litigation.
So I have
Jennifer,
no-
that one's yours.
Yeah, so I have no action, actually, but I have an update. I think at the last meeting reported to you, or one of the last meetings reported that the case had been dismissed because of lack of standing, because Walmart was not a taxpayer, sales taxpayer of the PPRTA tax, so they didn't have standing to challenge it. So the judge basically threw the case out. Since then, we've had some additional developments, and Walmart's shown that they have paid the use tax, which is the other half of the tax that we collect. So the parties have all stipulated that that makes it a live case again, and ask the court to throw out their previous order and basically flip the case on its head and give us a decision on the merits on the use tax. So it is pending before the court again, and the court could decide tomorrow or a year from now on the use tax issue. So we will have a decision on the merits, which is a good thing. That's what everyone wanted to begin with. So, and in the meantime, we will continue collecting our sales and use tax.
And presumably, either would decide the other, use versus sales tax.
Right. There's a bit more legal wrangling going on with how exactly that would work, but essentially, they are, and the statute uses sales and use tax. They're one and the same. So.
Questions? Thank you. Appreciate you staying on top of that. Item 14 would be RTA member announcements. Anything for the good of the body? Okay. With that, I will adjourn my last PPRTA board meeting.
I'm going to miss you. 45 minutes? Back as an alternate.
You won't? Oh, okay. So have you kind of decided who's doing what?
Yes. Love it. It's not because I'm opposed to meetings, but let's, let's do this.